Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Sewn Gohan Battle Clothes Edition. And it's similar to the recent Vegeta we got, sort of, which was kind of an abomination. It was not a good figure. Is this one any better? You would think it would be a pretty good figure. New mold. Basic body parts, nothing crazy going on except for the shoulder pads. Should be pretty good. Is it? Well, we're gonna find out. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands only about, not counting the very tippity top of his hair because his head wouldn't be that tall. So for scaling purposes, we're gonna say just about 10 centimeters. Overall height of just over 10 and a half if you do want to count that hair. And that's gonna make him about, let's say 3 3/4 and then 4 1/8. All right, so it's very small. And here he is. We'll do a quick size comparison for those of you who are curious. Here he is up against Darwin. Ooh, can't do that. So yeah, he's very, very tiny. Darwin, get out of here, you pervert. Okay, so before we get into the rest of the review, let's do a quick question of the day. Which look for Gohan is your favorite, not adult Gohan? He's had a few different looks as a youngster. Let me know which one your favorite is. For me, it's Cell Saga. For sure. But I do like this. This is cool. I can't wait till Krillin comes out. They're going to look nice together. Okay, let's dive into the aesthetic. No paint. You like paint? Forget about it. No paint. You don't get any paint. Except for where they needed to for the yellow and blue. That is it. There's no wash. There's no shading. There is nothing. I'll give them credit. It's not glossy. It's a nice matte finish all the way around. So I do like that. The hair has a little bit of like a satin look to it. I like that. That's fine. That's good. Everything else is pretty matte except for like the neck, but I'm not going to worry about that. So that's okay. But there's no like high quality paint job on this figure at all. It is the bare minimum. It is almost exclusively molded parts other than where it is absolutely necessary to paint something. I don't like that. If you like that, then you're good, but I don't like that, and I think most people don't like that. Also, mine has a smudge, a real big smudge over here in the yellow paint. So that's like, there's almost none, and they screwed it up. I do think the sculpt for the hair and face, that's nice. I think the overall look for the figure is nice. The head size, the body size, like everybody complains about the head size for the small figures. I think it's fine. Figuarts tends to skew small figures up and big figures down just a little bit. Proportions get changed. Dragon Ball is not entirely consistent anyway. I think it's fine. Could it be better? Maybe. Is it good enough? Absolutely. In my opinion, I think this looks okay. And not counting source material, it definitely looks okay. The style, the design language is consistent throughout. It looks good, I think. And there you go. So aesthetically speaking, I'm going to give it I would give it an 8, maybe even a 9 if it was painted, but it's not painted at all, and I have a smudge, so I'm only going to go 7. It's sculpted well, and it's a matte finish. That goes a long way, but this does not feel like an SH Figuarts. Not enough. I need more. I need some paint, at least a little bit of shading, or some line work on the armor. Just even the line work on the armor. It's so small, you can barely even see the indents without having any paint on there. Okay, well, whatever. Let's move on to the accessories. For the heads, we have the normal bowl cut hair, and then we get the wind-swept, energy-swept, angry, whatever you want to call it, bowl cut hair, so that's cool. For faces, we have the stern face that comes on them in the package. Then we get like a neutral-ish face. Then we get an angry face, a happy open mouth face, and a yelling open mouth face. The angry face on mine has black smudges all over the nose and around the eyes. And if you look really close, the eye paint job doesn't match the sculpt work, which is kind of a bummer. Otherwise, they're pretty good looking faces. We have a bunch of hands. We have 2 fist hands that come out in the package, 2 martial arts hands, 1 secondary martial arts hand, 2 karate chop style hands, and 2 wide open hands. That's pretty cool. We get the activated 3-star Dragon Ball. Mine has a bunch of little spots on it. I don't know if I can show you, but somehow, like, it's smooth. They're not cracks in the plastic or anything, but I've got little lines all over it, which definitely don't look good. And it's the first one I've seen that looks like that, and it looks bad. So that's disappointing, but other than those lines, it's a nice looking effect. I like the Dragon Balls a lot, I mentioned that before. And then lastly, we get an alternate chest piece, which bugs me, because the neutral, or the standard one, is pretty wide and matches the sculpt. The new one is narrower and doesn't match the sculpt and allows for the arms to come across the chest a little bit. They should have included alternate shoulder pads and an alternate chest piece. Skew the shoulder pads in the sculpt just like they did for Jace. Give us alternate shoulder pads for the shoulder pad wearing figures. Not just a chest piece that doesn't line up with the sculpt. That's lazy and cheap. Add an extra $5 to the price and give us alternate shoulder pads so that we can pose these freaking figures that are meant for posing. That's very frustrating that we can't pose these guys' arms because the shoulder pads are still on basic hinges like this from 1985. Come on. Those hinges don't work for posing. Not really. Anyway, it has decent accessories. Still no blast effects or anything like that, so for SH Figuarts standard, it's not impressive, but I'll give it an 8 just because we have a lot of hands and a lot of faces. It's like technically enough, but also I would pay like $5 for more. Or even just take more because we're not getting any paint either. Okay, so let's go on to the articulation. We have a ball hinge for the neck. It works well enough because they did a good one. It's better than a bad one, but a double ball peg still would have been better, but this one will definitely suffice. The way they did it works, and the neck moves around really well, so that's fine. That's a good thing. Shoulder pads, like I mentioned, still just a basic hinge. And you can see how the chest piece cuts out into the arm. The little one doesn't as much. But you still have to raise the shoulder pad in order for the arm to work. It's ridiculous. It's like, come on now. It's time to give us alternate shoulder pads, just like you did with Jace. I think it was Jace. It was one of the Ginyus. Alright, so we do have the butterfly joint that brings the arm out, but with the normal chest piece in, you just can't use it. So anytime you want to pose the arm, basically you have to swap out the chest piece. So you have to keep that accessory lying around. Super annoying. And you can't leave it on because the armor doesn't line up. So that just bothers me. But you do get the standard type of butterfly joint that just swings out. It works well enough. Big old ball peg for the arm to connect to the butterfly joint. So I like that. Plenty of options there. And then the hinge. You can raise the arm up, no problem. I like that. Rotating the arm around, you can't even do that because of the shoulder pads and the chest piece being the way it is. Oh, they should have fudged it. They should have fudged it and gotten rid of this. This shouldn't even be on the neutral one. The alternate one should have been the only way they did it and connected the shoulder pads to that, because this just doesn't work. Give us accessories of this so that it's not the standard. Then if you really want like a standard hero pose, you can do it. But if you want him to move his arms at all, you have that as the go-to. So that would have been way better. Bicep swivel is fine. Single jointed elbow gives you just about 90 degrees. It's okay. The blues don't quite match. This is painted, this is molded. That's a little bit of a bummer. The wrists are on a little tiny ball hinge. Torso joint feels like it's a hinge and a ball peg. Leaning forward is virtually zero range. Leaning back, very little range also. The hinge ball peg combo, like, yeah, look, there's technically a lot of movement going on, but it doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't give you any useful posability differences. So, time to convert to a double ball peg. Leaning side to side is almost non-existent. Rotation is okay. On the waist, you do get rotation there, but I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, I think you can. That just scares me. That's either going to become unusably tight or super loose or break. That is way too tight. Oh, that is hard plastic on hard plastic, and it is shredding for sure. Don't like that. You do get a little bit of forward and back on that, but almost none. Alright, let's see how his legs work. It looks like there's enough of a gap in here to go out to the side, but also it looks really bad because there's so much of a gap. This right here doesn't look good. He's supposed to be wearing tights, not like some kind of weird tunic, and then thigh-high boots. Going out to the side, very little range. Just better than 45 degrees. That's ridiculous. He should have way better range than that. That's not good at all. Bring the leg forward. Oh, no more of that noise. Oh. He can kick. Okay. He can go back. He doesn't have butt cheeks. So that's good. He can do the forward and back splits. But going out to the side is basically worthless. Thigh swivel is okay. Watch this knee, guys. I have to tell you, I already tested this. I want to show you something. They wanted the knees to look really good from behind, even though they still look terrible because it's articulation from behind. There's no cutouts. Did you see that? Watch the range on this knee. SH Figuarts right here, Dragon Ball martial artist, less than 90 degrees on a knee bend. And the kneecap is sculpted like it's from a Jazzwares figure. What's going on here? Why do we have the worst knee in the history of knees for an SH Figuarts? It's a contender with the Jazzwares knees in the Halo line, the 6-inch Halo line. That is terrible. What the heck? If nothing else, do a ball hinge like you did the elbow. That's not acceptable from SH Figuarts. What the heck? I don't get it. And then for the ankles, they did a ball hinge, which I've been asking for a long time, but they did a really tiny one and recessed it in a lot of plastic. So there's very little range going back. There's very little range going forward. You get an acceptable but not great toe hinge. The only thing this joint's really good for is an ankle rocker. And even then, it's not great. It's just not a great ankle. Make the ball hinge the size of the ankle, or just shy of it, and you'll have really good range. Setting it in there that tiny of a ball hinge inside that much plastic, you have virtually no range. So articulation on this figure is really disappointing. It should have been way better. This isn't one of the most expensive figures they've released, but it's not well executed. It's going to look really good if you just stand there and pretend that there's paint on it, because the sculpt is nice enough, but the way the hips are designed and the lack of paint definitely makes this figure not look great. It looks okay. The articulation is definitely not good. I'm going to give the articulation for SH Figuarts a 5 out of 10. The hips are bad, the knees are bad, the ankles are bad. You can't use the arms without swapping out the chest piece, but then the sculpt is busted because the shoulder pads are still there. Torso doesn't work, waist doesn't work. This figure's a mess. It's a small one, but it's a mess, and the things that are wrong with it don't have anything to do with it being small. This is not a good release, guys. It's not a good one. I'm very disappointed. I was hoping it would be a really good one, but it's just not. I'm going to give it a final verdict of 6 out of 10. Disappointing. It'll look good enough if you don't get up close because of the lack of paint, but that's it. That's it. It's not going to be great for posing. You might be able to get it into a couple of poses and just kind of leave it there, but it's not fun to handle because the joints don't really work, especially the knees, torso, hips, shoulders, you know, those kind of things. I'm bummed out. I'm bummed out. The fan in me really likes it because it's Gohan in the battle armor and it looks cool. But even then, like I said, no paint and whatever. Yeah, bummer. Alright, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day. Every day but Wednesday, but also sometimes Wednesday. And I have thousands of videos already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.